This is the second part of a series of remodeling a 125 gallon African cichlid tank. As a quick recap from part one, I went through all of the current setup of how the tank is set up right now. There's only about 10 fish in here in the tank right now. I really want it to be more, and they're almost all haps. They're almost all Moombas. I want a lot more haps in here. I've had a lot of fish in this tank before, like 25 to 40. I like to overstock it. And right now I've been letting the stock go down because of what I know I'm going to have to end up going through. And I know the fish are going to come out of the tank for a while, for at least a week, and for the process that I'm going to have to go through. So let me explain what I want to do here. First off, I want the filtration changed out. I want to do a sump. I want to get rid of these canisters. I want to do a sump. And I don't have a whole lot of space. The width of that cabinet is only about 29 inches or 28 inches. All the piping is all set up to go down under this shelf through the wall and into the cans. And so everything kind of set up, although I'm going to replace all the piping, all new piping. I'm going to do hard piping as well, to make it less to make it more leak proof and such. But I'm going to put a sump in here. I think I figured out the one that I want. I'll have to double check and test it out, but it's going to be a Trigger Systems. I think it's an Emerald 26. So it's going to take up the majority of the width. I'm going to have to get a little creative with the drain at the bottom that you can kind of see there in the back. There. So I'm going to have to get a little creative there because the depth of where that drain comes down with a P-trap is only, I think, 13 or 14 inches from the back. So that P-trap, I may end up having to kind of like scoop the sump into under the P-trap and let that P-trap pretty much let that P-trap act like a, I don't know, like it's going to just dip into like the refugium part of the sump. So the sump will go there. I do have the option to, of course, cut part of that wall out and get rid of these big drawers that are here and have even a bigger sump. But I don't want to go through that hassle. I'll do it if I have to, but I don't think I have to do that. So that's the plan for the filtration. Over on this side, what I want to do right now, everything is like piping that goes over the top of the rim, and I don't like that. I want to get rid of that stuff. I haven't liked the way that looks. So what I'm going to do, or at least what the plan is that I want to do, is number one is I want to clean up the inside. So the inside, that 3D rock wall that you see in the way back, that's coming out. This glass is almost 9 years old, 8, 9 years old, something like that. And I know that I'm going to have to reseal it, or at least if I'm going through this process, I'm going to reseal all the seams because some of them are in really bad shape. So you can see here, like some of these seams are in really bad shape, so much so that some of them are scaring the hell out of me. This side's pretty bad. You can see down here at the very bottom, that seal right there is really scaring me. The other side is also up front is also not that great. It's just dirty and nasty, and I kind of see it there. It's not in good shape. So I plan on resealing this whole thing. So I got to strip all that stuff out, which means I got to get to all the corners. I have to get to that back corner over there. Had to get to the bottom part too. This thing goes all the way to the bottom. And I knew the rock wall wanted to come out because one of the things I didn't anticipate when I put this rock wall in is it is a haven for just crap getting in there. Not only that, a bunch of my fish have had laid eggs, and I've breed a couple fish. In fact, you can see one of the little ones right there. He's maybe 3/4 inch. There's another one back there. Those are guys that I've raised in the tank. This guy was born in the tank and grew quite big. There's another one that grew in the tank. This guy back here, he also grew in the tank. There's a couple other very little ones around, if I can see them. What I found is that they actually could get behind the rock wall, and I had another piece of rock wall where it came out to right about here, and went straight up all the way up to the side of the wall and filled up this whole back, like 3/4 of the wall. And one of the concerns that I had, and it went around the backside here, you can see where I kind of chopped it out a little bit. And I was concerned that the glass was going to be so scratched up, which I doubt you can even see it right here, but these are all like scratches. All this stuff is scratches. That's from me trying to get fish that I had just bought and that had gone as babies via mail order, and it got stuck over on the right hand side. And that was me trying to use like a coat hanger to get them out. So I scratched the glass up pretty bad, like an idiot. Before I went through this whole process of resealing the tank and a bunch of other things I'll talk about in a second, I figured let's double check and see how bad these scratches are, because if they're really bad and I'm not going to be able to get these out, or if the behind the rock wall is really bad, or the 3D wall, then I'm just going to get new glass. I'm just going to get rid of this tank. Over the weekend when I did a water change and cleaned one of the canisters, I took out, I wanted to see how hard it would be to get the right side rock wall out. As you can see, it's out. I used a razor blade to clean off a lot of the crap from the glass. So you can see that some of it I left up there just to see how bad it used to be. But there's a ton of like calcium buildup and other crap back there. And for the most part, it's still not perfect, but I plan on getting like a glass cleaner and like buffing it out with a power drill and a really fine cloth, a really fine like microfiber, high grit cloth to do just correct glass cleaning, fixing a couple scratches. I doubt you can see it, but in the camera, but there's a good sized scratch that goes like across like right here from when I had like real rocks in here. There's another one like down here. I don't know if you can see that, but for the most part, this tells me I think this glass is good to go. So I do plan on reusing this tank. I may turn it around because the backside doesn't look like it has any scratches on it. And so I may flip it around where the back is going to be the front and vice versa. But some of the things I want to do is, like I said, I want to get rid of how I have these like these inputs and returns from the canisters coming through the back. I want to get rid of this. And so what I'm going to do here is the current attempt, or the current plan is I'm going to set up an overflow box by drilling through the tank and a return using another drill through the tank and setting up bulkheads. And it's part to make it a little more silent, part to make it a little bit more leak proof, part to kind of just use some new tech that I haven't used before, to get rid of the cans, and looking at the custom aquarium stuff with the H2 Overflow Stealth Box and their siphon stopper return as well. Those two products. I am 90% certain that the glass on the sides and the back and the front are not tempered, so I should be able to drill it just fine. I am going to test that, and I've got a couple of tests I need to run to make sure it's not tempered. There's no etching anywhere on the glass. The company that made this, I don't even know who made the glass. There may be something on the bottom piece. I can't tell because this thing is too damn heavy to move. So we'll see. But I'm planning on drilling it. I'm probably, because I don't have a whole lot of room, as you can see back here and the way back. I doubt that the overflow is going to fit back here. So I'm actually thinking about putting the overflow on this side, on the far right side. And as you can see, when you look at the entire office, like let's come all the way from the back of the tank. So I got plenty of room on both the left and the right side. And on the right side, the only person that's going to see it it's up against the wall, because the entry to the office is over that way. So I'm probably going to put the overflow box on the far right-hand side, drill from that side, so it gives me plenty of room on the back. And then I'll put the return probably somewhere in that general vicinity, so that it's blowing fresh water in, and then I'll have wave makers pushing all of the stuff towards the overflow box and having that set up. So that is all the current plan of what I would like to do and the changes I want to make. I know that the major things I'm looking at are, I'm getting rid of the substrate, switching from crushed limestone to like pool sand. I am planning on getting rid of the back rock wall. I'm going to keep those three main pieces of rock. Like this is one piece here, this is one piece here, and then this is one big piece here as well. I'm going to clean those guys up. I'm going to bleach them real good and then rinse the heck out of them before they go back in the tank. So new substrate, remove that back wall. I'm going to paint it black, the back wall black, to make the color of the fish pop a bit more. And adding the stealth box, adding those two wave makers you see on the far right and the far left, reorienting those. I just wanted to see if they would work. The heater that you see on the left and the right side, and in the back right corner and the far left of the screen, those are going to come out. They're going to go into the sump so I don't have to deal with that in the tank. And so the only thing that will be going down into the tank from the outside, not through a bulkhead, is going to be those air lines with the air stones, putting a couple bubbles in there. That's it. Nice and clean. That's the plan. We'll just see how things progress. So I'm going to start testing it out and trying out cutting through glass and everything. I have a spare 10-gallon that my kids use as a goldfish tank in their bathroom. The goldfish have all since expired. They've lived their nice long lives, and that tank isn't being used. And so I'm going to do the same test to see if it's tempered as I'm going to do on this tank, and I'm going to give it a shot cutting through the glass using that tank. That's it.